The clock seems relentless, the weight of the world on your shoulders, each breath becoming more difficult. You look around and see the expectations. The world, your own circle, all those who have an opinion, have already predicted your defeat. They speak quietly among themselves, whisper, as if they were watching the end of something that's already gone, the inevitable outcome. But you feel it, deep down, at the core of your being. There's something deeper than the cries of surrender that others are eager to hear. This is your moment, not a moment of defeat, but of transformation. History is full of people who were at rock bottom, where circumstances, life, and even human strength itself seemed unable to help. And then, in a moment of absolute despair, the game turned. Edison, who failed more than 1,000 times in his attempts to create the light bulb, said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He didn't accept that failure was the end. And it's this attitude that determines success. The first step to turning the game around when everyone expects your defeat is mindset. It doesn't matter how bleak the situation seems. The right mindset is not one that surrenders to the weight of difficulties. It's not one that hides behind excuses. The right mindset is one that challenges the impossible, that sees failure as a lesson and not as destiny. Napoleon Hill, in his best-known works, taught us that whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But more than just an empty idea, he challenges us to truly believe. When everyone around you expects your fall, you must do something counterintuitive. Believe in yourself. The belief in your own ability to turn the game around is the first brick in building any victory. And, as Hill teaches us, the mind is the only battlefield where you can conquer anything you desire. What others see as defeat, you see as fertile ground for the victory that's to come. But belief alone is not enough. You can believe you can conquer the world, but if you don't take action, your dream will be just an empty idea. This is where purpose comes in. You need to have a clear purpose. When you have an unwavering purpose, difficulties are no longer seen as obstacles, but as necessary steps to achieve something greater. You think of names like Henry Ford, who believed so much in his vision to transform the automotive industry that he ignored all criticism and adversity, even from banks, who saw his vision as unrealizable. Ford's purpose wasn't just to sell cars. It was to create something that would change people's lives. His purpose was his fuel for the journey, and he never let temporary failures make him deviate from his vision. Now, the journey is not easy. The path to greatness is always winding, always challenging, and never without its difficulties. But when you understand that every difficulty that arises is just another disguised opportunity, you prepare yourself for resilience. Resilience is not just the ability to endure life storms. It's the ability to emerge from them stronger than before. Hill taught us that success is not final and failure is not fatal. Both are just part of the process. What matters is the courage to continue. The desire persists. Often, what separates winners from losers is not ability, but discipline. Discipline is what you do when no one is watching, when you're alone, when no one expects anything more from you. Edison didn't make discoveries only during the day. He did it because he was willing to work at night, when everyone was sleeping. Discipline is what transforms dreams into realities. And this discipline doesn't come from momentary motivation, but from the clarity of your purpose. When you have clarity about what you want to achieve, discipline arises naturally. You become capable of acting even when energy seems lacking, even when everyone around you says it's too late. History's greatest visionaries weren't those who knew the most, but those who did the most with what they knew. They didn't just think big, but acted with intensity, courage, and focus. So, when the world expects your defeat, remember that the biggest mistake you can make is listening to others, listening to doubt, listening to criticism. The truth is that no one knows what you're capable of doing except you. The challenge, therefore, is to yourself. It's about proving to yourself what you already know is possible. This isn't just about achieving something grand, but about proving that your mind can create this greatness, that your vision can become tangible. As you move forward, you'll realize that true success isn't about accumulating wealth or notoriety, but about the impact you have on others. Lincoln, in his time, was the supreme example of resilience and vision. He wasn't elected president because people believed in him. He was elected because he believed in the changes he could bring, and no one else had the courage to do what he did. Finally, the game turns when you understand that failure is not something to be feared, but rather a necessary part of the process. In every failure, in every moment of despair, there's a lesson waiting to be learned, and these lessons are what truly shape winners. You're not lost, you're on a journey, and every misstep is just preparation for the great leap.